There's no time to dwell on Crystal Palace anymore. It needs to be out of our system. We've got to look ahead to tomorrow because we have 8 cup finals. Well, 7 plus Man City. And Nuno has to do this. Welcome to your preview for Forest versus Fulham. Good morning, good evening, or good night. I hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to your latest Forest video. Coming up, as always, we'll talk you through, well, what we think is going to happen. We'll talk you through the Forest team. Will Nuno go back to being Nuno again, or is he slowly morphing into Cooper? And we'll talk you through the Fulham team as best I can. I don't really watch Fulham. Anyway, if you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit the like button. You guys didn't hit the like target yesterday. I know I ranted, I know I raved, but it's over, it's in the past. So let's go for the same target today, 522 likes. If you'd be so kind as to hit that like button, I know you guys can do it. It's free to do, and make sure you're subscribed if you are new. And you've only got till this evening to get the signed, framed Reyna top here from Football Prizes with an insta win on ticket 18 for Felipe. And that's exactly where I want to start this video. We've had the debate on Grumpy Old Reds yesterday. Nuno Reyna in the 10, Morgan Gibbs-White in the 8. Is it too risky? Should we do it? Should we not do it? Crypto thinks he's the second coming of Frank Clark at the moment, even though he took it off my last video. Anyway, Crypto. So here's my thought process on this. Forest have to win this game. Am I confident we're gonna? No. But we're not gonna do anything away from home. So we have to really put everything, all our eggs into the City ground basket yet again. We've got this game at home, we've then got Wolves at home, then we got Chelsea at home, and then one at Man City, the one I've blocked out of my mind. So 3 out of the next 4 games are winnable at the City ground. Man City, you roll the dice, you see what happens. This one has to come as a priority. Now, we know that Fulham drew with Sheffield United after being 3-1 down, nearly 4-1 down. Unlucky Sheffield. So they will be coming in quite buoyant. But I actually think them getting a point out of that game is probably the best result for Forest. Because had they won that game, there was still this outside bet that they could get into Europe. There still is a slim chance they can do it. But realistically, they should be beached. And people are saying they're inconsistent, but last I checked, they'd won like 5 out their last 7 games. I am not confident with this game whatsoever unless Nuno rings the changes. And this is what you have to do. Look, I'll give you a FIFA example. For those of you who play, or what's it called now, FC 24. You've been playing weekend league, you've been doing well for week on week on week, and then you suddenly go through a slump, yeah? You're never going to blame yourself. It's never you or your skill. You're always going to blame a formation or a player change or something like that. It's the same on Football Manager. And that's what we're at. We're at the Football Manager, FIFA, end of the season where things have to change because it's not working. However, to give you a little hope, Forest are an informed team. Yes, you heard me right. Forest have the best form of the bottom 6 teams in the last 6 games, I think it is. Yeah, it kind of tells you how split this Premier League is. It's almost Premier League A Premier and Premier League B Premier. And that's kind of where it is, and a bunch of teams in between them. So maybe that gives you a little hope. But Fulham would probably sit in that middle beachy section of that league table. But in a way, we have more to gain by winning than they do. And that's where I think we have to just channel this energy. I've put Palace behind me. Got it out on the rant video yesterday. Said what I needed to say. Did I mean everything? Probably. Maybe some things were done in the heat of the moment. But this is football, and this is the life of a football fan. So I say now, Nuno, just go around the whole City ground training facility and just remove any pictures you've got hidden of Steve Cooper, any little ones in your wallet or anything like that, and then replace them with your own picture. Replace them with the picture of you walking through into the facility, the first day you entered. Replace it with a picture of your team talk or a recording of your team talk for the Newcastle game, for the Man U game, for even the Bournemouth game, the first one you came into. Do that attacking mindset again and stop acting like a pussy and just get it on. So let's get into this and let's get into the team sheet. So this is what he started with, and this needs to be almost ripped up. Felipe's got to come out for me. Straight away, Felipe out. If Bolly's fit, put Bolly in. If not, go with the young guns, Omobamidele and Murillo. Now, Einar went off. I don't know if he was injured or if he was just knackered out. But either way, for me, he was good. And it needs to be him or Tavares. That's my order right now. Tavares, Einar, Tuffalo. How things have changed over the season. And then Williams, I didn't think he was as good last game, but he's not done anything to be kicked out. Now, this is where we got to start ripping some things up. Origi, let's get rid of him. Look, I'm not 100% anti-Origi like a lot of the base, but it is what it is. Yates, get rid. Don't want to see him starting. Don't care if he's got the captain's armband. It means nothing to me. Sangare, let's take him off just for a second before you lot start freaking moaning about it. And let's talk about these three. So for me, this is the core of the team that should definitely be starting on Tuesday. Apart from Omobamidele, between him and Bolly, I don't really care either way. I'm comfortable with either one. Now, what do we do here? For me, if you don't want to play Yates and Sangare, or one or both, this is the best option. Put him in the 8. Bring Reyna in. And for me, Reyna has to start whatever now. There's not enough games. There's not enough more time to be like, let's just bed him in. Or he's American. Maybe he's still figuring out the offside rule and all this stuff. Does he still call it soccer? Has he learned to call it football? Tough. It's done. It's now Premier League football. He's got to come in. So that's what I'm doing there. And then I'm probably going to put Dominguez in. Now, there's no chance in hell I put Yates in. For me, it's between Dominguez and Sangare. I do have half a mind to put Sangare in there and just basically try and work him through this bedding in period. For all of you, when I said in yesterday's video, he's only played 2 games this year, it still stands. He's had 184 minutes of football since December at Forest. Don't write him off. That's all I'm saying to you. Yes, criticize his performances and everything. Just don't write him off yet. The only worry I have with this Dominguez MGW combo is the height issue. They're both pretty short, man. They make Ez look like giants. But it could work. It's very, very aggressive. And on the right-hand side, I'm still not convinced by him, but I'll put Elanga in as long as Nuno plays him out on the right, man, and not this BS false 10 or false 9 or whatever. I would say to Elanga, your job is to basically do a Robbie Fowler and just follow those white lines, man. Just stay as close to those lines as you can, stretch and create the width. And this is the thing that Nuno's gone away from. We told you, if you want to go back and look at the original video that we did when he got appointed, how he likes width to be created with double overloads and then a slow pivot man. And it's why we said at the time Chris Wood would be more ideal than Taiwo for his system. But what he's been doing lately is trying to bring Elanga into the middle and somewhat with Callum Hudson-Odoi, which is fine as long as he's got an attacking fullback outside him. So I'll begrudgingly at the moment put Elanga in. But I'm not really playing this as a 4-2-3-1. I think for this to work, it almost has to go to a 4-3-3. It's almost like a false 4-2-3-1. And what I want to see is that when Forest are in defence, what happens is Dominguez drops in deep and you almost get that kind of weird shape there with these two tracking back and basically creating a 4-5-1 formation. Now, Wood, I thought his goals have been phenomenal this season so far. But one of his tendencies is to drop quite deep. And we need Wood to be able to press the back line. He's not going to be able to do that, so it is what it is. But you do find his average playing position ends up around here. But he's going to have to be the one because he's scoring the goals. As long as the striker's in form, you got to stick with him. But that's really the team I want to see. Now, if I was going to be a little more conservative by this, I don't think I would. I don't think I would. The patterns of play between Reyna and Morgan Gibbs-White were too interesting for me to ignore them, and hopefully for Nuno to ignore them. The only real decision I think in this team is whether or not it's Dominguez, Yates, or Sangare. You could chuck Danilo in there as well. I don't think Danilo's got the discipline to almost hold that sixth position by himself. What do you guys think? Is that too risky, or would you do it? Let me know. All right, so let's have a look at this Fulham team, and there are some good players in there. You've got, I think still Paulinho is one of the best midfielders you've got around, especially at this level in the Premier League. Robinson, I rate as the left back. Pre-season Pereira, the Man U reject, suddenly rekindled and finding ridiculous form. And then, of course, you got Muniz or whatever his name is. The guy who was on loan at Middlesbrough, if I'm not mistaken, it was crap then, has gone something like 7 or 8 in 8. And he scored an absolute beauty against Sheffield to equalise in the last second. So this team, I don't watch them. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're not my cup of tea of a team. However, the person I rate the most on their team is their manager. I think he's the one of the most underrated managers in the league. What he's done for Fulham over the last few years is ridiculous. And I know for a fact Forest were after him, but they couldn't get him. Remember, he was meant to go to Saudi for like 40 million. He rejected that to stay at Fulham. He's good friends with Marinakis, so keep an eye on him for the future, maybe. But let's hope Nuno sorts it out and it doesn't get to that. But look, he's just gotten well drilled. This is their form, their lineup. They're very consistent in what they play. They haven't got many injuries. I'm not sure about Jimenez. They've got Broja from Chelsea, who they've been fined for because they haven't played him because Muniz is in just scintillating form. It's not a good team individually, but it's a good team as a team, if that makes sense. Will.i.am, that Forest tried to flirt with in the summer. Iwobi on the other side, he's just been able to put a bunch of raggy dolls together and get an absolute tune out of them with a little sprinkling of class in the likes of Paulinho. And you gotta respect what he's done. I mean, I think every Forest fan would be more than happy with Fulham's season. It's been a stress-free season for them. It's what I wanted for Forest this year, but hey, with Forest, we don't do things like that. And this is where I'm conflicted about how this game goes. Are Fulham going to play beach football, or are they going to play freedom football? In the sense that if they come and play freedom football and treat it almost like a pre-season knockabout, a kick around with your mates down the park, that probably produces some good football from them. And if Forest, with all the pressure they've got, if we go out to this game, and if I hear Nuno in his pre-match presser, and thankfully this is recorded before that's come out, talking about we need to work hard, we need to find solutions, and we need to start quick. I'm done with the talking. Let's see the performances in the feet. Let's start hot. Let's get the goal. And let's go aggressive. That's why I think it's risky, but Reyna and Morgan Gibbs-White have to start together, and then he's got to patch in whoever that third player is. Be it Yates, be it Sangare, be it Dominguez. Dominguez for me is the busier one. Maybe get 60, 70 minutes out of him, and then lock it down, take Reyna off, and Dominguez, if we are winning, hopefully, and one can dream, and bring on, I don't know, Danilo and Sangare or whatever. But I'm always honest with you guys. I'm not confident. Like I said on the stream yesterday, until this team of charlatans produces on the pitch and proves to me that they want it. And I know when we did the poll, 50% of you said they care, 50% of you said they don't care. I'm still in they don't care camp. Until they prove to me they care, I'm fully behind them, of course. I'm fully behind the team. But what I'm saying is I'm not confident or convinced enough that they've got the kahunas to whip out a result for us. So I'm going to predict Forest lose this one 3-1. But I'm not being negative here. I'm just being honest. And I still think Forest are going to do a Forest. Lose to Fulham and then we'll go and beat Spurs. It's just the most Forest thing ever. And then with Wolves, we'll draw it. And then we'll look back at this week where we've got, what would that be? 1 point, 3 points from Spurs, so 4, and then a 5th one from Wolves. We'll be looking at 5 points. And as we keep saying, Luton have got Arsenal. Who knows? Who knows what the Premier League can produce? But on paper, they shouldn't win that. And come the end of the Wolves match, we may find ourselves 5 points clear of Luton with an extra point, so to speak, with the goal difference. What we really need Arsenal to do is turn on the style against Luton and tonk them to give us that guaranteed cushion of the virtual point of goal difference. But look, it doesn't matter if Forest don't go and produce the goods on the pitch. My biggest annoyance already from this game is that if it ends up in a draw, in another dud performance from us, and Luton do go and lose, we start to take the positives from it, saying, oh, okay, well, Forest have gained a point on the week. Results have gone our way. Everton have got Newcastle. They may lose that one. We've pulled a further point away. We're 2 points behind Everton now. There's these huge talks. If you saw Kieran's tweet, that Everton are like 89 million overdrawn in terms of the PSR rules. So that potentially could mean at least a 6 point deduction for them. So there's going to be all that kind of talk. But if we just go and do the business on the pitch, so we don't have to keep looking over our shoulder, so we don't have to think about what Everton's point out, because I feel that's dirty anyway. I would rather be the superior team on the pitch with the points, with what we should be earned. Now we can argue about our 4 points, but that's a whole other video. So let's just go and I'll just say this. If we lose this game, but Nuno's decided to be Nuno again, I'm all for it. I'm all for it because I can then take that building block into the Spurs game and be like, okay, he's gone back to his roots. He's gone back to, I don't care what the opposition are doing. Let's try and play our game. And that's the key message for me. Play our game. Not the negative football we've been seeing. Not the crappy substitutions we've been seeing. And damn well put square pegs in square holes and round pegs in round holes and all the usual stuff you hear. But until they show it to me on the pitch, I'm just going to predict we lose. Sorry to be negative, but let me know how you guys feel about it. Having said that, whenever I feel this down about Forest, usually they pull a result out of the bag. So you take from that what you want. But I did call 1-1 with Palace. I don't know. Jinxery me all you want in the comments. That's all I got to say. I'm not down. I'm just apprehensive. That's the best way I can describe myself. But you will always get honesty with me. Do you agree with my team sheet or not? What changes would you make? And get your score predictions in down below. And quickly check that like count. Because if it's not at 522, make sure you've hit that like. We'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.